In this lecture, we are going to talk about tuples. So, if you want to define a tuple, so unlike list, in this we make use of round brackets, and then we can define a tuple like this. So it's also a list of items. Okay, so this is how you can define a tuple and enter values into the same using these round brackets. So if you want to print the output, you can do it like this. Okay, so that's how you can create a tuple. Tuples are used to store multiple items in a single variable. Fine, a tuple is one of 4 built-in data types in Python used to store collections of data. The other 3 are list, set, and dictionary, as we all know about. A tuple is a collection which is ordered and unchangeable. That's what you have to remember. Fine, it is an ordered and an unchangeable type of collection. Okay, tuple items are ordered, unchangeable, and allow duplicate values. Fine, so you can store duplicate values in a tuple like this. Let me show it to you practically. So now we have got two same values, that is this apple, and when you press enter you are going to get no error, which means that we can save duplicate, we can have duplicate items in tuple. Okay, now let's talk about how can we access tuple items. You can access tuple items by referring to the index number inside the square bracket. Find the way we used to access items of the list. In the same way, we can access the items of a tuple also. For example, if suppose you want to access the items of this my tuple which we have found. Suppose let's access the item which is present on index 1. So that's how you can do it. If suppose you want to access the item present on index number 3, so you can do it like this. So this one is this item number is on index 0, 1, 2 and then 3. Okay, likewise you can pass a negative value also for the index over here. As I've told you in the that previous lecture, the one which was based on list, that when you are putting a negative number here, it means that the compiler is going to read from the end. Okay, it is not going to read this tuple from the starting point, it is going to read it from the end. So this is the first item which the compiler will read first. Then see, the index number of this one is -1, then this is -2, and then this is -3. So this is what you're going to get as an output. Fine. Similarly, if you want to access a range of indexes, 2 or more items if you want to access, so you can pass a range over here like this. The way we used to do for list, in the same way we can do it for this tuple also. Okay, and then let's come on, how can we update any tuple? So for updating any tuple, see, tuples are unchangeable, meaning that you cannot change, add or remove items once the tuple is created. Okay, but there is a workaround. You can convert the tuple into a list, change the list and convert the list back into a tuple. Let's understand it with the help of an example. So at present we have got this tuple with us, in which there are 3 different items. Okay, now let's convert it into a list, because tuples are unchangeable, so we cannot modify it, but we can change it into a list using this list data type. This is a type conversion. Here we are converting a tuple into a list. Fine. So we are making use of type conversion process. So now the list, this tuple has got saved in the form of a list in this variable y. Now let's insert a value on index number 1. So I'm inserting this y1 is equals to key v. Now in order to convert this thing, this y back into tuple, what we can do, my tuple is equals to tuple then y. So this is going to convert this list y back into tuple. So this is a trick which you can use for updating a tuple. Now let's see what are we going to get is an output, my tuple. So this is what you will get in the output. Now kiwi has replaced this banana over here. So that's how you can modify a tuple, by converting it into a list and then again converting it back into a tuple. Now let's see how can we unpack a tuple. See, when we create a tuple, we normally assign values to it. This is called packing a tuple. Fine. For example, like this. If you're defining a variable like this and you're storing some values, some string values in it using this round brackets, so it means that you are packing a tuple. In Python we are also allowed to extract the values back into variables. This is called unpacking. Now how are you going to unpack the tuple? For doing that, what we can do, we can suppose let's make use of 3 different variables and make it equal to this my tuple, and let's see what is going to happen. So if you will print the value of x, so you are going to get this thing apple, and if you'll print the value of y, you are going to get banana. Why? Now this tuple has got unpacked and this value has got assigned to x, this value has got assigned to y, and this z has got initialized with this third string which is there stored in my tuple. So that's how you can pack or unpack a tuple in Python. Okay, now let's talk about loop through a tuple. How can we loop through a tuple? Let's create this tuple again, and here we go. Now if you want to loop through a tuple, the best way is to use for loop for x in what is the name of this tuple? My tuple. And okay, why we guys are getting the syntax error? Just because I haven't placed the colon after this for loop. Okay, remember this thing, you have to place a colon after the loop you have used or you have defined on this idle platform. And let's now print the value of x. This is what you're going to get as an output. Fine. So initially x is equals to 0. So whatever is there in this tuple on index 0, it is going to get printed first. Then again the compiler is going to return on this line, and when it will come on this line again, the value of x will be 1 at that time. Okay, because it gets incremented by 1 every time the compiler comes on this line. So now the compiler is going to print the value which is present on index number 1 in this tuple. Likewise, it will print the value which is present on index number 2, and so on. Okay, now let's talk about how can we join two tuples. If you have a tuple like this, okay, so this is the first tuple which we have. Now let's define one more tuple. Let's say it is my tuple 2, and instead of using string values in it, let's make use of integer values. Fine. So this is the second tuple, that is my tuple 2. Now if you want to join these two tuples, the simple way is to use a concatenation operator for doing the same. So final is equals to my tuple 2. So this is going to add the items with the items which are present in this tuple 2, and when you will print this tuple, that is final, what will you get is an output. This is what you will get in the output part. Okay, now let's see what will happen if we'll multiply the tuple by any number. So see, this is the final tuple. Let's multiply it with 2 and see what's gonna happen. So as you can see, this all the items which were there in this final have now got duplicated, multiplied by 3. So let's see what are we going to get in the output. See, this is what you're going to get as an output. So now you're going to get 3 things, 3 values for every item. Okay, 1, 2 and 3. Fine. So this is how you can multiply a tuple with an integer, and this is what you are going to get as an output. So this is it for this lecture. Hope you enjoyed it a lot. Please do like and subscribe to my channel, and also share the link with the other students so that they can also enjoy these free coding classes on my channel. Thank you very much.